situation here.
When is load shedding coming back?
My brother can tell you right now. By Ashiba, so anybody who thinks load shedding is a thing of the past must go and look at what the same government has done to NERSA. They've applied to NERSA for NERSA to allow them to go up to stage 16. Now, why would you apply that NERSA gives you authority to go up to stage 16 while you are saying on the other end that load shedding is not the
Premier in waiting of Gauteng. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
KZN for
Okay, nekinali soli no. O campaign ka wena. Solim Sima. Are wena no she di hour re fetsa voter. O tja motlhagase.
That propaganda campaign. I mean, we've been saying that re tlhalosetsa batho re ntse a ikhonagale. Re shumile ka matla go kgontisa re kaonafatse bothata bja load shedding. And ba la ke sello se seholo because ne ba nagana gore ge re tlo ba re tsena nakwe tle bona le load shedding ba ishumishe re ba khone go kry di vote. Re ba betile because re khone re rarolla bothata bo because re a tseba mathata a batho ba borena. So ntse a itsamaisane di dikgetho ke bogoni ya rena. Re le engine re tha sekolone pela. Ntse re a itseba gore tlo e rarolla bja. Ska chusa ke batho ba mmala o mongwe. Rena batho ba mmala re a rarolla. O tloa ka chairperson ya board Dr. Mteto, CEO Marokane ka moka re di engineers ebile re di
the most happiest minister after Gaten, of course. So Sputla is a pure bred new generation ANC leaders. New generation in the sense that he came in after the new democratic dispensation. He's well versed, his political knowledge is superior than most, his academic qualifications superior than most. He's a doctor. He trained as a civil engineer. He led Tshwane just when they lost it, and the reason it's lost is just one of those things. But what I want to talk about Sputla is he had a small stint in the presidency, and then he went on to lead the ministry with so much difficulty, because at the time that he came, there were Bukwete and stuff, and he was not given credence, and the media chowed him. But we knew Sputla is the real deal. We knew Sputla will pull through. The most difficult time, of course, was the fact that he was given something that he could not control. I remember they made fun of him because of such things. But let's talk about Sputla the man. So Sputla has managed to stop load shedding. And there were people who were claiming that he wouldn't. I remember coming into the elections, many people suggested that there is no way he can stop load shedding after elections. Let's just see how good he became and how he would become. And there are a lot of people who said Sputla is man of the match based on the fact that he has managed to solve something so difficult people did not think he would solve. And when it turns around, people started saying, well, because it was an ANC problem, let's not applaud him. But I think that would be unfair on the man. Machine politically incorrect. Let's leave it that. Is load shedding a political problem, engineering problem, or a corruption problem? Let's leave it at that. Let's watch Itada.
Oh, guys, do you remember when it was all Jacob Zuma's fault? Him and his cronies and the Guptas. They all stealing from Ntskao. What you gonna say now?
You'll see that dance. That dance is going to come when we solve load shedding. In fact, that's nothing. you will see the dance of no load shedding. But I you'll see that dance. That dance is going to come when we solve load shedding. In fact, that's nothing. You will see the dance of no load shedding. But the point we are making is that it's a short-term pain and long-term gain. I think that's the point that we're making. Of course, all of us are suffering as a result of load shedding. But when we get to the situation when we say we're out of load shedding, it's important that we are able to give you the assurance that we are confident about these units being resilient, being able to carry us into the future. And then you are undermining your outage sleeps, essentially units just tripping on their own without alerting you. And that's the kind of discipline that we are introducing into how we are treating this area of work. And of course, it's led by Mr. Begen Ngumalo and his competent team of station managers and the men and women who are at the coalface of addressing the generation of giving us a generation. So if we are to be told today that this PV solar power project on a megawatt to megawatt basis, base load, will be able to answer the question, then direct us to where this is. And I'm telling you, it doesn't exist. Just shared with you the profile of the energy mix. I said the renewables, they come in at 8:30 to 4:30. My peak is earlier than that in the morning and later than that in the evening. Direct us to where this solution exists. And when you do PV, you must pay it with battery, at least to attempt to give it the base load, or construct the pump stations, which in fact are most resilient than a battery. Battery gives you spend about 50 million rands per megawatt, pump storage 30 million per megawatt. Battery gives you a life of 20 years, pump storage gives us a life of 70 years. Pump storage also provides the other function of balancing the water resources. So at some point we must have an honest conversation about these technologies. It's not an average minister or some person who just doesn't know these technologies. No, we must be told the truth. Show me a country in the world that base load is supported by solar. It doesn't exist. But that does not mean that our commitment to decarbonization is undermined. I said when I started, it's in the interest of South Africa and her people and the economy. We'll make that case. If we are squashed, but we'll be able to illustrate in numbers.
How are you, my brother?
So I was very interested when you stood up. I could not capture you from afar.
Yeah.
You said that man of the ANC, if he must commit, he must commit to something, and you felt it's very important.
Yeah.
Please just repeat it for us.
I asked the leader from the ANC, can he commit whether or not after the 29th of May 2024 there will be no load?
You say?
Well, you know, the energy available factor and what. But at the end, after all the rambling, what he said is that after the 29th of May, there will be no load shedding. I want us to capture that. We must frame it and put it on a pedestal, because this ANC government is using the elections to play at the heartstrings of South Africans. You know, a government that hates its people uses electioneering as an opportunity to show them that they actually can do its work. There's grass cutting happening, they are cutting trees, they are painting schools. Where were they over the years? Why all of a sudden we're seeing all of this pity and we're seeing a month without load shedding? This is a government that shows you that it can not to. And that's why we must get them out.
So you think they have solved load shedding, or Bafakile just a temporary measure?
It's a temporary measure. We all know it. We all know it. They are playing at the idea of the closer we are to elections, let's try to create a perception that this is a government that delivers. This is a government that has failed us for the last 30 years. And it's about time that as South Africans, we take ourselves seriously and we say enough is enough and they must go. We need new leaders, leaders that are capable, that are competent, that are caring, that are not just going to use election cycles as the basis to give people delivery.
Had you been on the podium, what is it that you wanted to articulate to South Africans?
South Africans want a very simple thing. They want the South Africa they deserve, which is safe, which is prosperous, which is equal and united in one generation. This thing must happen now. We don't have time. 1994 was 30 years ago and still not yet uhuru. Look at our country. Wana hujwang. Aye, guys, we cannot be living like this. Let's go.
Thank you, Tebza.
Thank you very much.
He's driving SACP away from electioneering with ANC, and I feel it's gonna die unless it joins hands with EFF or MK or both of them. You've actually answered me. Sputla, Ramokgopa. What's the rating?
Sputla Ramokgopa 9.5.
The men were Motlhagase.
Yeah, 9.5. You know why? They took a white illiterate and they made that guy a CEO. That guy was a failure at NEMPEC.
Yeah.
He was a failure at SOSO, right? Those are
He
previous.
was actually the minister of ESCO.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he came up with, you see, and this is the debate we must have in this country. We are not ready for green energy or clean energy, whatever they call it. I don't know what they call those things.
Yes.
We are not ready for that. Even developed countries are not ready for that. Germany is buying coal. They're not talking. In the United States of America, they had the very same problem that we're having. Until Trump said, no, let's stop with this nonsense of clean energy and start going back to the origin, nuclear energy and coal. Now, this guy came with this mentality that, look, sun and all these things of solar, it's not going to take us anywhere. If you want a serious country that is serious about development, use what has worked for a century and a half, which is coal.
The economy can lay on green.
We can't rely on green. So that man collapsed that even going as far as closing down coal stations. But Sputla came in because Sputla has got a PhD. And he understood what he was doing, and he said, no, this thing is not going to go on like this. And we've got stable electricity as a country, and you have to give that man 9.5. For real, I'm telling you, you've got
the
to
reason
give
I
it to
agree
him.
with them is because during the elections, I asked Sputla myself that, but anyway, you'll hear about it. I'll
Yes.
make sure that I include it. Yes, but I agree with your
So he has done
9.5.
very well. And
He's a quite performing star.
yes, black executive, black engineers and black people can perform very well.
If they've got political
If
protection.
they've got political protection. Now you bring a failed white man and you put him in power and he collapses the system. Nobody talks about, in fact, they just reward that guy.
Minister,
We reward mediocrity in this country.
Minister of Police, Senzo.
Given that it's still working, meaning that if after you paid, let's say after 20 years, then you have a valuable asset that you can make profit on. So we need these nuclear power plants. When the first and second industrialization happened, industrial revolution happened, the countries such as or the states or the continents such as Europe, America, and others, they built not only coal plants, but they also built nuclear plants. Meaning they did not put their eggs in one basket because they knew it would come to a time where they decide that the world is moving away from coal. Now that the decision or the time has come, where are we as South Africa? Because we put our eggs in one basket and did not diversify our energy sector. It's not diversified. Now we are facing a problem where it's either you do renewables or, but definitely move away from coal. Had we built more nuclear power plants, right now, at least we would know that at least we can be able to experiment with these renewables, because for me it's still an experiment, because as I said earlier on, no country has ever developed using those technologies. So we still need them in the energy mix so that we are able to diversify our energy. But now we're in a situation, the world is moving away from coal. We don't want to move away from coal, but that does not mean we cannot start thinking about ways in which we can diversify our energy. And that's where nuclear comes in, because nuclear can give us the reliable electricity, reliable that you can get 24/7. It does not depend on weather conditions. You can get it at any time. We mine uranium, we get nuclear. The capacity factor of nuclear is even higher than coal, because that's how reliable nuclear is. It gives us the clean technology that these countries are demanding that the world move towards. So I want South Africa to say, when you start speaking about other things that this government is not doing, also scream that they must do nuclear, because nuclear is not only going to benefit government, it's going to benefit us, ordinary citizens. It's going to help us reduce our electricity costs. So that's what I wanted to talk to South Africans about.
Your organization, do you go to schools? Do you prepare in allowing kids to know what is that you guys do, and maybe opt to be nuclear practitioners in future?
Yes, definitely. Recently I've been so busy. Number one, I've traveled to 23 countries speaking about this subject, and also visiting other nuclear plants in other countries, and also learning about their energy policies.
Yes.
In these countries. Yes, I do go to school. Recently I was in Rustenburg, Mafikeng, to do a career talk about the careers that are available in the nuclear industry. And I do go to schools. I do go to political gatherings.
Yes.
Nuclear, so
Sure.
find me everywhere.
Yes.
And people start associating me with a specific political party.
Yes.
I'm a nuclear person, guys. I want nuclear. Where nuclear is discussed, you will find me. Whether nuclear is being discussed by Umkhonto weSizwe, EFF, DA, because we have to influence policies. How else are you going to influence policies if you do not enter these political spaces? So you find me there. And also I recently I was in KZN. I was invited by the MEC for Transport and Human Settlement, Usboniso Duma, to speak about nuclear at the Women in Construction event.
Great.
Because when you speak construction, you can also talk about nuclear.
Great. For parents who are watching, because it's unlikely that kids would be watching, for parents who are watching and they would want their kids to go into this space because it's a futuristic thing. We have it now and it might be bigger in the future if we get political will. What should their kids study towards, and what should they empower themselves with, and where are they going to study something nuclear related?
Well, in the nuclear organization, you find all these
trades.
Is all these background experiences. But for specific nuclear-related qualifications, they have to study number one, maths and science. And they can do their first degree, either chemistry but it has to have maths and science. And then they can do maybe a postgraduate of nuclear science, nuclear physics, nuclear
pharmacy.
Nuclear physics course. When you can do that, the pharmacy degree, but then you now need to be specific, because you need to be a specialist. Then to become a specialist, that's when now you say, I'm moving towards being a nuclear engineer.
Yes,
I have an engineering degree, but now I want to be a nuclear engineer, then I'm going to do a postgraduate in nuclear engineering. You can find it in nuclear science and engineering. You can find it in, I think, Northwest University, Potchefstroom, and University of Cape Town. They can just search. But you do maths and science. And then, in the nuclear industry, you have more artisans than nuclear engineers and scientists. So people must never undermine these artisans' qualifications, they're very important. We have more artisans than we have technicians as well. They get told to, trained to be technicians. We also have what you call the radiation protection officers, RPOs. You find them even in mines. And for medicine, to become a radiologist, Dr. Musa Mtombini, last year he announced that he's qualified as a radiologist. That's a nuclear doctor. Yes, you can also study those qualifications.
Mam Tombini, thank you very much.
And when nuclear start building, by the way,
Yeah.
then it's gonna have things are gonna happen for people for this country, because that's a mega project.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Machine politically incorrect, let's end it there. Too much engineering English for us to consume at the same time. Thank you.